Yeah, now you can make it go.
So, good evening, everyone. Will be Evlo Roy is the dignitary today, and he is a serial tech entrepreneur, investor, and TV host who started his first startup at the age of 19 and around, and his patent pending technology while studying as a computer engineer at the Illinois Institute of Technology. He built in it to a multi-million dollar valuation by the age of 22. He has built 8 businesses in the US and India with multi-million dollar worth of product and services ranging from consumer, electronics, artificial intelligence system, healthcare process automation, science, wireless communication, and graphic process applications. As Puerto Visual, we welcome you, sir. And we have Himesh Agarwal as the founder of Puerto Visual.
So yeah, welcome, sir, and thanks for taking out time for the event. And it's a great privilege to have a discussion with you. So before I start, sir, if you can talk about a little bit and what do you think? I mean, the current scenarios. Just a brief introduction from your side, sir.
Um, so, Himesh, I understand that this is about digital transformation, and the pandemic has been a curse and a blessing. And for many businesses, for traditional businesses, it has been more of a curse than a blessing. But for those businesses that can transform into digital or can expand into digital, it's been forced to go to the digital arena and explore that unexplored, barriers. So lot of innovations, lot of startups. Some of our incubated startups at Kolkata Ventures have gone as high as 1700 growth, 1700% growth in this pandemic arena, because again they have been able to align with the problems of the COVID. So in the new COVID world, there is a new way of looking at things. For example, the US people are denying to go to work unless they are allowed to do work from home, right? And in India too, that's happening in certain cases. So people are realizing they don't have to do 9 to 5 jobs. They don't have to have only one job. They don't have to be stuck to their cubicle. They can be working in Goa. They can be working anywhere they want. So it's a new life. It's a new way, and there are a lot of new opportunities as a result.
Right, sir. Right. So there are different kind of businesses which I see. Obviously, one is the startup, then second is the mid-level stage, and third are bigger corporations and companies like Reliance and Ambani. I mean, Adani's and all. Right. So obviously, the challenges are different for different level of organizations. When we particularly talk about the startup community, or let's say the startup or entrepreneurs, what do you think will be a crucial factor or a USP factor? So what I'm trying to say is, sir, a lot of startups have failed and have shut down in this pandemic. Though on the other side, a lot of startups have grown, but a lot of startups who were burning money earlier could not now sustain. So what could be the comeback strategy for those people or those entrepreneurs? How can they come back?
So this has always been the case. Startups have a 90 to 95% failure rate. Hardly 2% get funding, and it's not like funding is necessary to succeed, but still, it's a very rare thing. So regardless of a pandemic or a recession or whatever, startups have a high failure rate. That's just a given. Now, for real entrepreneurs, they see an opportunity at every challenge. And in this case, there are many opportunities that have opened up. One of our startups, they were dealing with chemicals. They were a startup dealing with certain chemicals, but because of pandemic, they just came up with sanitizers, that are safe for your hand, doesn't dry up your hand, the right pH value. And phase one, they made 25 lakhs a month, and phase two, they made 10 lakhs a month. So for them, pandemic is a blessing because they were able to, like I said, you're able to, because people are scared. When they're scared, people spend money on certain things and they don't spend money on certain things, right? So we have to understand, as an entrepreneur, one has to understand what does it look like. You have to be a futurist. You have to look 6 months from now, a year from now, 3 years 3 years from now, how is the world changing? What are going to be the new needs? Not just pandemic, but 5G technology coming in, Tesla and other electric cars coming into India. These are opportunities, right? Gas stations are going to change. Charging stations are going to be the new thing. What are the needs of the new charging stations? Right? You have to think in those lines. For example, just to give you a story, one of my friends who owns a Tesla in the US, there was a snowstorm. They were lost in a snowstorm, he and his wife, and the Tesla was going low on charge. And in cold weather, the battery discharges faster. So Tesla found its way to a gas station, or not gas, a charging station, and they had to find a hotel or motel around that. So it all figured out, and they found out most of the motels were booked by basically electric car users, because electric cars, all are going down, and they cannot go any further because of the cold weather. Batteries are discharging. Yeah. So that's just an example. What are the new problems that are going to come with digital India and wallets and digital ways of payments? There's going to be more hacking, more cyber attacks. Right. There are opportunities for entrepreneurs to solve those. So we need to see what are the new problems of the tomorrow that are going to come. And so if the startups are able to pivot, to that new opportunity, the new challenges, there is tremendous amount of growth that they can be having in the next 3 to 5 years. You right. cannot be looking at right now what is the problem. Right now it's pandemic, and God willing it'll go away. But many more problems are coming up, including the pandemic, the impact of the pandemic, along with other things that are there. So more problems, more opportunities.
That's truly said, and that's very rightly said, sir. Because now, if the digital transformation is coming in, so problems will also be related to that, or it will be related to that sort of a technology, like as you mentioned, data security and stuff like that. So now people, or entrepreneurs should focus upon that. So that's a great direction you have mentioned. So,
but we have to be careful. Digital transformation, the problem is people who are kind of waking up to digital transformation are people who are not aware of digital media at all. And there are unbelievable number of teenagers, 19-year-olds, who are like, I'm a digital marketer and I know how to press the boost button, right? And they're making money because companies don't know how to identify a real digital transformer, a real digital marketer. So people are spending money, lakhs, and then they're like, oh, there's no return on investment. So this doesn't work. I'm going back to my physical way of doing things. And that's the problem. So we also need to have education on what to know, how to know who's actually going to be my right tool for transforming my business digitally.
Great, rightly said. In fact, recently I just came to know that Tesla is setting up a new whole thing in Ahmedabad and Gujarat, apart from in Bangalore. So obviously, this is a new way for always about youngsters. They're getting an opportunity to work with that sort of people. So I agree that different opportunities are coming up, and there are multiple options to foray into. Right. So also talking about the target markets or marketing aspect. So what do you think, sir? What is the kind of innovation we will be able to see in the marketing segment? So earlier, when a lot of print ads, radio ads, or offline medium of advertisement was there, or PR sort of things were there. Now we are seeing OTT as a new platform. Similarly, we are seeing things happening online. So what do you think in the marketing perspective? How is the marketing of a corporate or in a startup should change, or what should be an innovative way for doing it? So what are your thoughts on it?
Again, looking as a futurist, right? We have to kind of see not what it is now, but what it's going to be tomorrow. If you look at it, their ad blockers are very, very popular because people don't like to be interrupted when they're watching a YouTube video or they're on their favorite website reading a news or whatever. Ad blockers are popular. As a result of which, Apple has stopped giving data. If you're running Facebook ads, you would know this. Facebook is having tremendous problems figuring out how to track a user using Apple phone or Apple computer, because Apple has really stopped it in terms of helping advertisers. So now, why does Apple do that? Because that's what people want. And guess what? That's what the future is. So interruption advertising used to work when there was TV. And as internet was new, we thought we can transform what was happening on TV to the digital world. But there's so much that is, options available to people. If you try to interrupt them and annoy them, it will go against you. So interruption advertising is not as effective as advertising that is more subliminal, right? So that's where artificial intelligence is so important, because it's understanding
Right.
what you really like and selling you what you would like to see. Just to give you an example, I was talking to my mother about Domino's Pizza. Immediately, within literally 3 minutes, there was a SMS on my phone. Domino's Pizza, this is the code. Order now, 50% off. Right? They're
Right.
listening. And that's
Yeah.
powerful. I don't mind it, to be honest, because I'm not a terrorist. I'm not anybody who's doing any shady things. So I'm okay with my phone listening to me and giving me something that is aligned with what I want and giving me discounts or whatever else, right? Sure, take my data, right? But give me what is relevant. Don't tell me to buy some. I'm a vegetarian, for example. Don't tell me to buy chicken, when I'm watching some video. So if you know
Right.
what I want and you align with me, fantastic, right?
That's
And
right.
that's what you see in PR. In offline media, it's called advertorials. There is an article, and then there are paid articles that doesn't look like ads, but they're paid, and they're talking about something that is relevant to you, but embedded in that is a message for a product. So similarly, that's where this is all going towards. Storytelling. Why is it so popular? Because it's easy for, it's not interruption. It's working with you. It's entertaining you and telling you something about a product or service that you might be able to buy, have the resources to buy it, and you might want to buy it. And you just didn't know about it, right? That is where advertising is going. Digital marketing, everybody's like, okay, I have to interrupt people. That's not going to work anymore.
Right.
Ad block,
Right.
like I said, futurist. We have to look at Apple, we have to look at the ad blocker and look at what people want. And that's where technology is going to go. Technology does not dictate people. People dictate technology.
Right. So what I can see is a lot of targeted marketing, or even if not targeted marketing, tapping on the right person. So you should know your right customer, or you
The
should know
right word
who's
is
really looking.
subliminal,
Some.
subconscious marketing.
Okay. Okay.
Without even you knowing, you're
Right.
being marketed to. For example, James Bond movies.
Right.
Every movie, they are either promoting Aston Martin or a BMW or some car that is giving them money. Subliminally, they're promoting it. As the car is racing, they show the logo. They zoom out, right?
Right.
They're not saying buy it. They're saying, here's a logo. Here is,
Right.
you want that life?
Right.
This is what it is.
Right.
Subconsciously, when you look at an ad now on the billboard, you're thinking, James Bond. I want to be, I would drive like that, right?
Right.
That's what.
That's so.
Nothing new. It's just, it's evolution of marketing.
Correct. That's so very right. But sir, I have a small question out here. So when you talk about, let's say, AI and augmented reality, obviously for bigger corporations, whether it's Domino's or anyone else, it is, they have that sort of budgets that they can integrate those level of marketings in their plan. But what about the startups? Okay, I understand subliminal marketing, and that you've really given a great idea.
Who's
In
telling you
fact,
that? Startups are not advertising platforms.
right,
You're still advertising on Google and Facebook.
right,
But here's the deal. Somebody is spending 10,000 rupees and making 30 lakhs a month. I
right.
actually know there's a Gur company, sugar
Okay,
company. They're spending
okay,
10,000 rupees on Google ads, making 30 lakhs a month on sales on Amazon.
okay,
And I know there are people who are spending a lakh a month on Google ads and not getting 10,000 rupees also, right?
okay. Right.
Why? Because
Product.
somebody, the pictures, the text, the targeting, all of that matters. It's not just I just give money and Google will do it for me. You are building the ad. Your
Right.
digital marketer is doing it. And you need to understand aligning with who would resonate with it. That's a skill. So you don't need to have your own AI. You're plugging into the AI of Facebook, which has 5,000 data points on each individual. You're plugging into the AI of Google, which has probably more. They have your email, they have access to everything. Google Wallet, everything they have access to. They know you very well. So it's not you have to do it, but for you to understand how those algorithms work and to use the tools, that's what is important.
Right. So, in fact, I was recently listening about this particular the story of Zomato IPO is coming in, right? So my question is, next question is, which is the idea which you really think have got a digital transformation in the COVID time, apart from one which you talked about? So which particular industry or which particular startup idea you think is really has brought a paradigm shift, or impactful change in the COVID time?
Uh, So it has been obviously health tech,
Okay.
pharmacy, FMCG, because people are scared whether the grocery store is going to be open or not. They're hoarding. They're buying more than required. People are going crazy on sanitizers, right? But I'll tell you funny, one of our incubated startups, they do hourly hotel booking. Generally couples do that, right? 3 hours,
Right.
6 hours, 9 hours, kind of hourly hotel booking. And Pratik was telling me it's a company called Brevistay. So he was telling me that, sir, from March to September, whatever money we lost, all the lockdown, nobody went out. Just September, October, 2 months, so many people went out to their hourly hotels. They made up all the losses plus profit.
Okay.
So so that's also there. People are saying travel and tourism isn't working, but it is. Look at Manali right now. Look at Goa right now. It's filled. No hotel rooms available. So that there is that also. But also the fear factor has worked very well for the uh, uh, insurance industry, for astrology, for telemedicine. A lot of doctors are going on Zoom who used to hate anything online, hate Practo. They're now going online because people are not coming to their clinics. So health tech has gone up, FMCG, last mile delivery, entertainment. People are on OTTs, like you said, and short videos like Instagram Reels, and even 10 other competitors who are trying to be TikTok. Like all are doing extremely well. So influencers are making tremendous amount of money. There's a lot of new people coming in. A lot of products are sold through these influencers. There's a whole economy that has been created with companies that are doing exceptionally well. That didn't even have the feeling of doing it so well. They're doing exceptionally well.
Great. So as I've seen, you have been, evaluating, and you have been mentoring, and you have been also in the jury member of a lot of challenges. Like recently, if I'm not wrong, you were a part of Startup India
Correct.
event which happened. So,
Start up in your
so
words.
yeah, Startup India. So, what do you think, sir, for the coming startups or coming entrepreneurs? What is that an investor is looking for? So basically, earlier investors were fine with a lot of burn and having a lot of more traction. But what I see in the coming down the line, or what I understand after talking to a few good investors and prominent investors, now they've started focusing on the bottom lines, or on the profit margins, or on the lesser burn but more of a revenue the companies are generating. So what do you think, is that approach gonna be changed, or traction still matters more, or the bottom line matters more, or what is it
Nothing's
gonna
going
be?
to change. The investment principles are always the same. Investors invest in founders. If you are a good founder, why does IIT IM guys get funded? Because there's a validation that if you have the brains to get into those colleges, that means you have the intelligence. Now, with that, you have to show some addition. Okay, I've gone to this college, but I've also done something. I have some skills, and I've built something without your help. With your help, with my own credentials, I've come this far. With your help, I can go this far. Right?
Right.
That's what investors looking for. What have you done without me?
Right.
And based on that, let me guess, in the next 3 years, if I help you, how far can you take my money?
Right.
VCs
That's
won't even talk to you unless you give me 20x return on investment, right? 20x is very minimal. You know, Zomato and companies like that have given 100x, 160x return on investment.
right.
So, that level of return is expected, but who can do it? It's the founders, it's the team. Now, team is good. Now, the idea is okay. Idea can evolve over time, but are you scalable? Is the idea scalable, right? So that's the next thing. And the thing after that, so burning money and all, you have to understand there's value creation happening. Otherwise, investors are not crazy. That people think, oh, okay, they're not making money. Think about cred, right?
Clubhouse. Yeah.
Cred made, I think, for 15 lakh rupees in revenue, but they
Right.
burned,
Right.
I don't know, thousands of crores, probably
Yes.
hundreds of crores. But the point is, what is happening here? In this short time, what cred has done, 40% of credit card users are using cred to pay for their credit card loan. Why? Because they're able to see their CIBIL scores, they're able to see what are the hidden costs in credit card companies and all of that. Now, what does that mean? Now, cred has access to reading my credit card statement on inside my email. That's a huge privacy I just gave access to. 40% of credit card in India, there are, I think, something like some 4 crore or some very small number of people who have credit card, which are most premium people. Now, of them, 40% are using cred. That's a huge thing. That's the valuation. If you're burning money, it doesn't matter. Why? Because you're changing behavior. That data is going to be already being plugged into Amazon, already being plugged into Google. Already now they're not selling data. They say they don't sell data. You don't have to sell data into this world. APIs do the work for you. Google's API is pulling in the data from you.
Right.
Amazon now knows you are a guy who likes to buy expensive stuff. So let me promote, expensive things to you. So that's
Right.
what's happening. So that's not going to change. It's the same thing. So burning money is not necessarily a bad thing as long as your value creation is growing exponentially. If your value creation is not growing exponentially, burning money will kill you. So
So
please understand, investors are not stupid that they'll tell you
right.
to burn money for fun. That's not
Right.
the case here.
Exactly, that is what Clubhouse is doing. I mean, I see, and you might have also seen Clubhouse, like the kind of growth they have seen in the last 1 year, right? So obviously they are not earning anything right now, what I think, but when they acquire a lot of traction and they have that right amount of people, there are multiple ways of
Not just
materializing.
acquiring, but user behavior modification.
Right.
It's a user behavior modification. Once that happens, once you're able to, like Paytm, people were not used to digitally paying, but what did they do? Every pawn shop, every credit card recharge, phone recharge place, and every little town is using Paytm. That's a huge change, and
Right.
that's why they got 400 million wallets or something like that. The crazy number. That's why the valuation.
Right. So, sir, as you might have also seen a lot of you know corporates have started doing their things virtually in the form of virtual events, as we also do. So, just to ask you, because like this could be a little personal question, but because we're doing this conversation, so what do you think is virtual events or a digital transformation of marketing gonna be there, or people are still gonna, because there's also a lot of fatigue people are facing with these webinars and virtual events. But then what do you think in the long run, is this gonna be something which will stay, or this is something will erupt, or what will happen
See,
in.
last year, April, May, June, it was everybody's doing webinars, everybody's like, virtual. So it is going to stay for some, it is going to be gone for some. Some work like psychology, if you're a psychotherapist, virtual is not effective as much as physical interaction is. Uh, or a doctor, a physician, So think professions that require a lot more physical activity would probably go back to being more physical, less virtual, but virtual will stay. And for those who can be virtual and still be potentially productive, then for them, yeah, that's what the answer is, right? Like I said, a lot of companies are not investing more in real estate for their offices and whatnot because they're saying, hey, you know what? We
Virtual
did work,
offices.
we grew, people, did their thing, and it works. Why should I spend money on office space, which is so expensive, upkeep, and all the electricity bills and everything else that goes with it?
Right, right. So in fact, a lot of IT companies or technology companies have, shifted their offices like virtually, and they're gonna, they have made the plans of continuing it for like coming 1 or 2 years at least. So obviously,
And
it's
the
being
best part about is, one of my friends, he's in Kashmir, in a shikara, and he's
okay.
sending pictures. He's like working in a shikara. I mean, why not? Why
Right.
would anybody go back to something else? So it makes sense for some, and doesn't make sense for some.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So it obviously depends from the case to case, is what I can understand.
Right.
Right. So we're also having some questions from the audience part, and I will be receiving it soon, and I will be asking those questions. Another question which I think I should ask with you is, so what are the domains? What are the segments or business categories, or let's say the arenas which you think a startup should focus? You already mentioned health tech has been a growing thing, right? But in the coming time, or which are those sectors, FMCG or pharma or EV, or what others is something people should focus upon? Because nowadays we see, because of COVID, obviously the EV market went down a little bit, or it was a shift. But again, I think it's going to pick up. So, what do you think? Which industry a startup should start focusing upon, or should start? When they brunch their idea, when the college students think about the ideas or talk about ideas,
I
which
got
which
you.
industry should be
I got you.
relevant?
And that's a wrong way of looking at a startup. It's not job. Jobs, people are like, acha, right now biotech is hot, or right now edtech is hot. Startups should not, an entrepreneur should not think like that. An entrepreneur should very carefully assess oneself. What are my skills? What is my passion? The passion leads to the market you want to go after. From that market, you derive a problem you want to solve. To solve the problem, you need your skills. See what skills you have. There are certain skills you will have, certain skills you will need to form a founding team for. Together, you build a business model. That's how you derive what you want to do. From you, it comes. It doesn't come from what is happening out there. Because today, if edtech is hot and you think I'll build an edtech company, by the time it's 3 years and you're finally on your knees, you'll be like, oh, you know what? Something else is hot, right? So you'll constantly be chasing a carrot, a moving target, right? Better to focus on what is your strength, where you thrive and you enjoy doing it. It's
Enjoy.
hard to
What is your
build a startup.
passion? Right.
It's hard to build a startup. So if you enjoy it, at least you're in your element and you can give your 100%. A fish in water is far more powerful than a fish on land. A monkey on a tree is far more powerful than a monkey on land. So you have to understand who we are and accordingly go in that market, solve a problem. That's how we should think about it, not what is hot.
That's very right question answer I've given, sir. So I recently received a question, and I feel this is also one of the burning challenges for every entrepreneur. So when you look for a co-founder or when you onboard a co-founder for a startup idea, what are certain characteristics or what are certain parameters which a person should look when onboarding a co-founder, whether it's a CTO or a CFO or any other CXO level position? So what are the certain characteristics which you think a startup entrepreneur should look?
So first is the skill level. Are they skilled enough to do what they're supposed to do, whether it's marketing or CTO or finance, whatever it is? Are they skilled enough? Are they skilled above average? Are they, or if you are lucky, are they really well skilled? That's one. Number two is ethics. Even one lie will tell you this person is not ethical, and down the line he's going to create problem for you. So ethics. And number three is energy. Look for the person if they are high energy, can do attitude, not like come to you with every problem and be like, ये नहीं होगा, वो नहीं होगा, ये excuse है, government ने ये किया है, और da, 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 da. Can you figure it out? Can you hack it? Right? We need hackers. So these are three key crucial things. Besides that, they should have what you don't have as a founder. If you're a founder hearing this, your co-founders should have what you don't have. The skills that you're really good at. God has given you 2 to 3 things.
It
that
should
you're
be
really
complementing, right?
You should find somebody who's a complement of you, right? They're not good at what you're good at, and you're not good at what they're good at, and together you have the right skills, and you're complete together. That's the need. Hard to do. Steve Jobs in his early days, he would spend 12 hours every single day, and in a week he would maybe hire 1 or 2 persons, right? So that's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I was just reading a Facebook group comment. This lady is saying, I was on Bumble looking for a date. I ended up hiring 11 men for my startup. I know. You can find them anywhere. The point is you have to keep looking, and it's not the easiest thing to do. It's the hardest part of a startup to recruit the right team.
Right. And in fact, a lot of business mentors suggest and say, and we also read in books that your team should be smarter than you if you want to grow your idea. So maybe
in a certain direction. They're not smarter overall. You're smarter than everybody because you're the founder. But yeah, in their domain, they should be smarter than you.
So if they are basically a tech person and you are basically a business person, so they should obviously be smarter in that case. Or obviously, you should be surrounded with a smarter chunk of people to grow. That's very rightly said. Anywhere. So yeah, I think it's been great discussing with you, and I've asked you so many questions, and it has been a great learning, I think, for all the entrepreneurs who have been attending this event. And I know it has been so difficult for you to take out the time and be a part of this session, but I think it was very much enlightening for all our attendees. And we have hosted this whole event on the 3D virtual event platform of our own, and so I think it's been a great learning, and thank you so much for because it was a quick discussion, and I did not want to take a lot of time of yours. So Neha already told me that sir is not available for a longer time. So yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
Himesh. I wish you all success with your startup.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.